My name is Gail Merrill Stutzman. I was born in Dover, Foxcroft, Maine at Mayo Hospital, September 29th, 1947.
My name is Linda Herrick. I was born in Dover, Foxcroft on August 10th, 1948.
Irvin Herrick, born in Harmony, Maine, 1938.
My name is Richard Stutzman. I was born in Dover, Foxcroft, Maine, at the old Mayo Hospital.
My favorite movie was Swiss Family Robinson. It's the first movie I ever see.
What was that one with John Wayne and Walter Brennan, Rick Nelson? What the hell was the name of that? Well, they sung that song, Run Along Home, Cindy, Cindy. We watched it enough times, 15, 20 times probably. My favorite movie was Rio Bravo.
When I grew up on the farm, we had a pet raccoon for several years, and we had a pet skunk for a few years. And in addition to always had a couple dogs and maybe half a dozen cats at least. The raccoon always washes everything he eats, so it was fun giving him an egg salad sandwich and watching it just disintegrate as they were washing it in the dog's dish.
Growing up, I had a dog named Daisy. She was always there for me.
Yes, we had dog. Summer dog. You know, a summer dog, some of this, some of that mixed together.
My first job was raking blueberries.
My first job I was born into because I was raised on a farm. There was never lack of things to do, so all aspects of taking care of cows, going out haying, cutting corn, combining oats. Did I mention haying? A lot of haying.
First job was probably up in Aroostook County picking potatoes.
I first moved out on my own when I was 16. It was a two-bedroom apartment. My cousin and I rented it.
No, probably when I was 16, I moved to Brockton, Mass.
When I was 18, I moved to Washington, D.C. We had a very small apartment. It had a one-bedroom and a living room. The kitchen was very small, but it was big enough for a table and two chairs. And it was a nice little place that we rented.
I left 2 months after I graduated for the Army, so that's where I moved out to. I was a wheel and track vehicle mechanical supervisor when I ended up. Then I got first stationed in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, but we went overseas 6 months out of every year to Greenland, which was interesting. We were a research support group. We supported civilian scientists up there. They were doing core samples back before Christ was born, in Camp Century, Greenland, which was an Army base that was out in the middle of the ice cap, and it was underground base buried in 6,000 feet of ice, or 6,000 feet deep, but we was only about 40, 50 feet down. We found out it was the first successful test of a portable nuclear reactor which powered the camp. It was very good to find out it was successful.
Most interesting thing I've ever done is hang gliding.
I actually went to Washington, D.C. after I got married, and I worked at the Pentagon and for the Air Force. I did have my top secret clearance, but I actually can't talk about that even now.
Probably riding cross country in a boxcar with racehorses. Probably between 2 and 3 days. I think we left on a Friday, and I think we got there Sunday evening. LA to Chicago.
Most interesting or coolest thing I've ever done, hands down, was I can't remember, it was 50 or 55, was out in California visiting Kristen, and they bought me an hour with a stunt pilot in an open cockpit biplane. Stunt pilot asked me what I would like to do, and we did everything for an hour. Flat spins and rolls and loops, just about everything he could think of once he found out I wasn't going to get sick.
The historical event I remember the most was the JFK assassination.
When the air shuttle exploded there, Christy McAuliffe got killed. That was in the 80s, but I don't remember the date.
I actually did see the Beatles in 1966, so that was really probably my best fun memory to remember. That was a really, really special time to be able to actually see the Beatles, yes. A girl that I worked with at the Pentagon had a fight with her boyfriend, and she had an extra ticket, but she didn't have a car. So she said, "Would you drive me in? I'll give you the ticket to see the Beatles." Well, that was a pretty much no-brainer. I was going to go see the Beatles, so it was great.
My best piece of parenting advice is just love them.
just love them and have good traits so that they can see what it's like to be a good person.
The easiest part of getting older, you don't have any choice about it whatsoever. You are going to get older and it's going to happen. The hardest part of getting older is you have to have a thing to do about it. You're going to get older no matter what's going to happen.
We can't do what you used to be able to do. Can't do things you want to do. That's probably it.
I would just say, to be honest, do the best you can, be kind to people. I guess that would be the best advice I could give you.
Well, that's it. Go to work, get a job.
The happiest moment of my life was when my daughter was born.
And then I got married. It's funny, we was talking, my wife and I were talking, we both agreed that was it. And it's been a good run. It's been working on 55 years now.
It was the day that I married your grandfather. We just, I don't know, he was in the service, so we didn't have a lot of, we wrote letters back and forth more than we actually saw each other in the first year of our, courtship, I guess you'd call it. And I think we really got to know each other really well by writing letters to each other. And he was in the service, so that actually, I really do think that communicating by letters really was part of why we've had such a strong marriage now, because we knew each other better by that type of communication.
Well, I say the thing I'm most proud of in life is my family. I've been very fortunate.
I am most proud of my family, my children and my grandchildren. I am so glad that we have the wonderful family that we have, so that's what I'm most proud of.
I would say my family.
I'm most proud of my children and my grandchildren.
I guess I'd like to be remembered as a person that cared about people and tried to help people, and that I did the best I could. I guess that would be the answer that I would have for how I'd like people to remember me.
I would like to be remembered as a good family man, because when it gets right down to it, that's the most important thing. They're the only ones that will really remember you, outside of a passing comment now and then. So that would be it. The most important life lesson. That's one of the hard ones. The most important lesson is don't get overwhelmed. Life is going to kick you in the teeth. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And you got to be able to roll with the punches, and that's just the way it is. That's the life lesson right there. Expect the unexpected and live with it.